From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us, so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us, so we may know all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action, so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest, so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. From the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum Hunab Ku Eva Maya E Ma Ho. Ayum Hunab Ku Eva Maya E Ma Ho. Ayum Hunab Ku Eva Maya E Ma Ho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature.
Welcome everybody to Health and Well-Being with Viata. This is Friday, July 31st. Let's see. It's a 1. We're in 3. We're in the number 3. Welcome to the end of July. Whoa, did that go fast? Summer is almost over. The heat may pass, at least in other places, but Florida, it's still pretty hot. So welcome and thank you for joining me. I want to just give a shout out to Lisa Ken165 for that beautiful introductory video that she created for her family of synchronistic humans who are evolving quickly into a fourth dimension telepathic reality. Thank you, Lisa. And we welcome you here for this very important show, Quantum Reality of Prostate Cancer and How to Prevent It more than anything. If you were with us on Wednesday, I remembered my friend and brother Jonathan Blount, who was a founder of Essence, and his daughter made a video and announced right at the front that he passed from metastatic prostate cancer. Now, those 3 words are a little deceptive because that's not really what happens in a human body when they take their last breath. It's really a quantum reality. And that's why I really feel strongly that Jonathan wants you to know the whole story so that you can prevent it. And I want to say, first off, if you have had a loved one suffering with cancer, or if you're suffering with cancer, you are not alone. There are so many of us who will pray for you, hold your hand, and help you through this journey, and you can overcome it. I want to tell you today, you can overcome any cancer diagnosis with truth. And most of the time, we don't get that. So I want to start with a disclaimer today because we're going to talk about a lot of body temple issues that are called medical issues, but this show is not intended to replace any advice you may be receiving from your DR medical professional. If you have an acute or a chronic health concern, condition, that you cannot resolve, you haven't been able to resolve it, please see your trusted health professional and see if they can help you. In the meantime, I've been anointed, appointed, and assigned to give truthful facts about this temple. That's what I'm sharing with you, my journey, but also what I've learned from studying for over 30 years now about this human temple. So today I want to just share mostly Jonathan Blount's full story. It wasn't just about metastatic pancreatic or prostate cancer. Trust me, I got the whole story. And I want you to be aware that the quantum reality is what helps you prevent any type of cancer when you understand quantum reality. Now, we're going to do some breathing and stretching first. What we do here, we do meditative joint rolling. If you're new, thank you for joining us. And I hope you share this with others who can improve their health just by moving these joints. That's the first thing we do before you even get out of bed. Please, please, please think about taking deep breaths. Before you even get out of bed, you take a deep breath because you haven't been breathing deeply in your dream, really. But trust me, you've been just barely, you've been in another dimension. You know, that's what happens when we go into dreamland. We leave this body. Like, that's what people call death, but it happens every night when you go into your dreams. And so coming back into the body from your dream state, we want to take in the oxygen of planet Earth, get back to the third dimension we're really rolling in today and every day. And then start loving yourself more. Breathe. Breathe, inhale through the nose, let it out through the mouth, or inhale through the nose, let it out through the nose, inhale through the mouth, blow it out through the mouth, whatever feels comfortable, but breath work is key to starting your day. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to, as usual, follow along with the heart torus. The heart torus is actually your quantum story every day. And we're going to learn exactly what is quantum? What does that mean? So let's just start there for just a minute. It's a really short video. What is meant by quantum? Because as we roll our joints, I think you'll even start educating yourself on what quantum is, and realizing that you're rolling around in quantum. So let's just start with a little explanation. It's only a little minute and a half of what is meant by quantum.
Although the term quantum is used in many different situations, it often refers to a defined amount or basic unit of something. The phrase is derived from quantum theory, a field of physics that explains how matter and energy behave at the smallest scales. The quantization of some physical quantities, including energy, momentum, and angular momentum, is a central idea of quantum theory. This implies that they cannot be continuous, and can only exist in certain discrete quantities. A common name for these discrete values is quanta. Most people identify the term quantization with the field of physics known as quantum mechanics, which studies the behavior of particles at the atomic and subatomic scales. The wave-particle duality of matter, the probabilistic character of measurements, and the uncertainty principle were all groundbreaking concepts introduced by quantum mechanics. In addition, the word quantum is also used in a number of non-physics related domains. For instance, quantum computing, in computing, refers to a sort of computing that uses quantum processes and quantum bits, qubits, to carry out some tasks more quickly than with conventional computers. In everyday speech, the word quantum is occasionally used metaphorically to signify something being essential, distinct, or having a big influence. It is important to keep in mind that quantum theory and its applications can be extremely complicated and call for a thorough knowledge of mathematics and physics.
So that's a brief definition of quantum. I want to say to you, in my understanding of quantum, it's the invisible energy that we live with every day. And so, as we do our meditative joint rolling, just think about all the energy you're producing, invisible, not just in your body, but outside. And that's what our joint rolling is meant to remind us of, that especially if you've been suffering with or diagnosed with cancer, today is a day you can free yourself of fear as you learn what's really driving that dis-ease, that temporary lack of ease. You can begin to see the energy behind it because it's everywhere. And quantum, even quantum financial systems are really a big subject right now, because the Bitcoin and the QFS and all the things that are going on in financial world are all about invisible energy. Because we don't see Bitcoins, we don't see some of the other uh, metals and things that are driving our financial system. So it's just the same with our bodies. There's a lot going on that we don't see. And yet the sick care system will label something metastatic prostate cancer as if that's the only thing that caused your soul to leave your body. So we're going to get into that today, because Jonathan has been talking to me in a very spiritual way to say, share my truth, share my truth. And that's what we did Wednesday. We let him speak on Wednesday. And today I'm speaking for him, having known this person for over 20 years and been a student of his quantum energy. I want to put it that way, because at the end of his 80 years on planet Earth, that's what I feel strongly about his lesson, is his quantum energy came forth in my mind as the most important lesson for his life. What his life represented, we talked about on Wednesday, but today, let's talk about the energy of the dis-ease that he was labeled with at the end of his life, that really did not speak of the whole story. And we're going to tell you the whole story, why, so you can prevent it. That's what Jonathan wants us to do, is prevent the really hard journey he had at the end of his life. So if you're ready, let's do some meditative joint rolling. If you're new, the four reasons we do the meditative joint rolling: number one, improve your circulation. Any movement does that, but we are expressively, intentionally moving the joints, which are actually cosmic portals. The universe has this invisible quantum line going with every human being that activates our consciousness when we are aware of it. That's the key, is being aware of all the dynamics of this journey. So meditative joint rolling improves circulation. Your immune system is boosted, tapping on the thyroid gland, all that. Your lymphatic system gets a workout every time we move, roll around. Those lymph glands are draining and helping you get rid of the toxins, taking out the trash. And then fourth, your muscles. All these muscles that are holding up the joints are getting a workout this morning when we do our meditative joint rolling. So collectively, guess what? We are healing the planet, because we're broadcasting with our movement. We're sending out that quantum message, that invisible message, each one of us, that we're going to be healed, we're going to be healthy, and we're going to heal this planet. Take that, all you adversarial, non-super people. We're doing the work so that the rest of the world can be healed. So deep breath in. Let's bring up our heart Taurus video so that we can roll with the energy of the heart Taurus, which is the heart is a major energy source in your body that is demonstrated here in this video for us. And I want to remind you to smile, because smiling creates positive alkaline enzymes. Smile, smile. Let's come to a seated position. Deep breath in. Deep breath in. Give thanks, give thanks. Give thanks. Give thanks. Give thanks. Thanks for your beautiful, healthy, strong body temple. So let's do some vagus nerve stimulation before we go to the studio, because your vagus nerve is the tree trunk of your body. It is the trunk that branches out all the energy in your arms, your legs, your head, everywhere. And so bringing some healing energy, some moving energy to the vagus nerve, which is starts back here, squeeze and release, squeeze and release. You should be able to feel that all the way to your toes. That's how much energy you're pushing through your body. Unblocking any constrictions, any toxins are moving. Breathe in. And just take a deep, and then just give yourself a little mini massage. Get the lymph glands moving under the ears. Move the lymph glands around the collarbone. Move the energy on your arms, especially in this area. If you have pain, this is a good activator for the rest of the inflammation to move out and stop. So tap, 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 move that energy. Don't just sit there and suffer. Say, I'm in charge here. I'm in charge. Activate your command center and move the energy. Just move, especially around the breast. Make sure you massage around the breast, touch the breast every day. And then around your navel, that is your army, your microbiome. Most of your microbiome, your bacteria, your fungus, your parasite, most of them are sitting in there. So just give them a little love pat so they can do their job. They're all microbiome is your army that connects to the brain, and together your brain and your microbiome help your body stay in homeostasis, which is balance, all about balance. So how are you feeling? Let me know how you're feeling. If you were doing those joint rollings, if you're doing them every morning, how is that working for you? Hope it's working for you well, okay? Thank you for joining me this morning. This is some very important information, not just for men, because a lot of the prostate issues that men have are related to, guess what? Relationships with women or men, whatever your choice. But I want to help you understand Jonathan's journey that helped me understand this disease and how to prevent it, most of all. So I'm going to put on my intro music, tiny house music, while I set up my studio, and I'll be back shortly.
The cook put it in high. The cook put in high. And how could was in this order? Could the cook request cut or in high? The cook put it in high. The cook put in high. I looked even dressed with mad push loud. On the bed, book bad, the cool type of gal. The cook's a hopper, I can't pop a R. Penenza, put the cook on as a R. Go who's to get a lemon to order a zempa, I can keep a cataract, a dear again. Tashi, I wish you up a sound come one. The fear who the comedy, I can't let none. I kick a geek, a boom, to a part to sad. I knew get a was, we can pop out that ass. I knew I would for pop a leg. I knew I can't put you, I could get that. I knew I could do it, I could tradition ain't yet. I knew I could do it, la mother was part of that. I do free pop of that, the guy was, I knew for nas, that super do, I got no horse. The cook put it in hot.
And we give thanks to my brother Emak for that motivating music. And I'm like doing my thing here in my grandson's room. So welcome and thank you for joining me for this very important lesson on prostate challenges. And my brother Sebastian Blount wants us to know how to prevent it, because even though it was announced that on the death certificate, metastatic prostate cancer, they had to give a simple answer to why this person decided to leave this planet and journey to peace home. So today, let's talk about metastatic prostate cancer from the sick care system point of view. Because as I said, let me just break my disclaimer one more time. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm giving you my experience with one individual. And I've had in my book, From Fear to Faith, I have several examples of men who had prostate cancer diagnosis and what their real issues were. And that's how we prevent it. We look at the deeper quantum. Quantum is really all about the invisible energy that's running the show. It's really running the show when you think about it. They talk about atoms, these particles in physics and the things they have seen actually. But how do you see the energy of your anger? What does that look like? You know how you can find out what it looks like? Take some water and put it on the side of your bed and go to sleep. And if you had any anger during your sleep, it will go into that water and you freeze the water. There have been experiments done on this, not just Dr. Emoto, but there have been experiments done on this where the water was put in the freezer, and then once it froze, they could see the anger crystals in the water. That's how powerful your quantum energy is. So quantum is just parts of the reality of invisible energy. The minutest, smallest part of energy in the world is called quantum. And a lot of the quantum financial systems, all that's being developed. So let's look at what the sick care system believes about metastatic prostate cancer. And then I want to share with you Jonathan's beginnings that told me a lot about his adult life. Okay, so let's see. What is metastatic prostate cancer? 4 minutes of a little education and perspective from the sick care system, which is slowly leaving us, thank goodness. From the Princess Margaret.
What is metastatic prostate cancer? In this video, you will learn what is prostate cancer, what is metastatic prostate cancer, and where can you find resources to help you cope.
Finding out that you or a loved one has metastatic prostate cancer can be upsetting. You may have many questions. This video is meant to help you, your friends, and family answer some of these questions. What is prostate cancer? Prostate cancer is one of the most common types of cancer in Canada. About 1 in 8 men will get prostate cancer in their lifetime. Prostate cancer can affect anyone who has a prostate. People who have a prostate include men and transgender women. The prostate is a small organ underneath your bladder, in front of your rectum, that wraps around your urethra. The prostate makes liquid that is part of semen. Prostate cancer starts when abnormal cells grow in the prostate and develop into cancer. What is metastatic prostate cancer? Metastatic prostate cancer is prostate cancer that is spread from where it started to other parts of the body. Metastatic prostate cancer often spreads to your bones, lymph nodes, liver, or lungs. If the prostate cancer spreads to other parts of your body, it is still prostate cancer. For example, if the cancer has spread to the lungs, it is called prostate cancer with lung metastases. Metastatic prostate cancer can spread to more than one part of your body.
Now, I want to just say right here, this video is so full of misconceptions, deceptions, and half-truths that I don't even know if I can finish it. But the reality is that you don't get metastatic anything, you just create new conflicts. Let me just put that there. But the sick care system has taught us that once you get cancer, it can spread all over your body. But my training with German New Medicine is that you create new conflicts that show up in your lungs or your bones. And it's not necessarily that it spreads, but you just keep creating new conflicts.
If you have metastatic prostate cancer, you will get long-term treatment. These treatments can help you live longer and feel better. Your healthcare team will support you through your treatment. The different treatment options for metastatic prostate cancer include hormone therapy, radiation therapy.
We're gonna just stop that at that point. Too much misconception, too much half truths. And then I love the part in the beginning where it said, who has a prostate? Males have a prostate and transgender women have a prostate. Was that really necessary? I guess so. In 2026, we don't want to offend anybody. Let's move on. The idea for someone who is diagnosed with that, or who starts, let's just say you start feeling discomfort in your prostate. What is going on in a quantum field energy perspective? I'm going to say you have a conflict. You have a conflict with the homeostasis, natural balance of the body to digest food, to produce babies. You have a conflict anytime there's inflammation, whether it's food you ate, whether it's too many chemicals, but mostly I want to say it's your energy and motion, your emotions. My experience over almost 40 years now is it's really your emotions that are really off the rail. And with Jonathan Blount, it couldn't have been more obvious to anyone. I tell you one example, and then we're going to talk about how one of the ways resolving a conflict in German New Medicine. I was driving in the car with Jonathan Blount one day. We rode all over Orlando, Florida, doing what he needed us to do. I was like the driver, the chauffeur. He did not have a car. And I was driving him all over because this man was so interesting, so fascinating. And I said something about, he said something about a knot he had on the side of his head. I remember to this day so vividly. I'm driving along and he pointed to a knot. Must have been on the left side of his head, a scar on the left side of his head. And I said to him, what did you do? No, he said something about his mother, father, caretaker. Somebody hit him so hard that it left a mark on his head. And I said, not intentionally to bring harm or anything. I said, what did you do to deserve that? I remember like it was yesterday. This man almost slapped me, killed me. The anger was so strong when I said, what did you do to deserve that? He went into a rage. What do you mean? What did I do to deserve it? I didn't do a damn thing. Blah, 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 blah. And the cursing was coming out. And he was so angry that I would even hint that he did anything wrong. My mistake. Bad girl. And so that's what I do. I trigger people. And I triggered so much anger just by asking him, what did you do to deserve that? So this rage that came out, I'm driving and I'm like, thinking, should I stop driving? Because this is serious. And I don't know if this man's going to kill me. And I just started breathing and praying. That's all I could do. And he finally calmed down. And I said, I'm sorry. I was apologizing for the next, 5 or 10 minutes. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. But I knew at that point how I had triggered a really serious trauma that he had as a child. Somebody was very mean to him. Somebody was hateful. Abuse. Okay. So his abuse as a child caused a memory or a wound on the side of his face that lasted. And he at the time was probably in his 70s because I didn't meet him until he was about, 20. I met him in his 60s. And then it was on, off for years. I didn't see him. So that memory came out in his 60s or 70s, 70-year-old, and the anger was still there. And that's what happens when we stuff something abusive, violence, anger in our subconscious. We don't deal with it. We resolve it. Mainly we don't resolve it. Then it comes up later as anger if someone like myself triggers you, okay? So the key, first step in prevention is to be aware of that, to be aware of the anger that's being triggered when someone asks you, what did you do to deserve that? That needs to be resolved because guess what? That's your quantum energy stirring around, causing problems, causing disruptions, causing problems and everything else. So that was the first sign for me that Jonathan had a lot of unhealed trauma in his childhood. Now, resolving a conflict. So when you have that awareness, then the next thing is to how do I resolve it if you want to prevent further problems like prostate cancer, breast cancer. It starts in the childhood though. So here's a little clip from German New Medicine Professional on resolving a conflict, because that's what most people deal with once they become aware that they have this subconscious conflict, this subconscious memory of a really abusive behavior, rape or whatever. And then the question becomes, how do I resolve it? So here's a little tip from a professional on resolving it, in which case it can prevent the growth of tumors, ulcers, what have you. It's important to know how to or think about resolving it and finding what? Peace.
Hi, Alvin DeLeon here, and you are watching episode 27 of the 3-Minute Health Tip. In this episode, I'm going to talk about how to resolve your conflict. One of the many emails that I get regularly and people asking me questions about this new health perspective known as G&M and the 5 biological laws is that, okay, I get it. I know that my back pain or my digestive issue or my rash is because of this unexpected conflict that I'm dealing with someone at work or with my spouse or with a neighbor. But how do I resolve it? How do I close this issue? How do I let go of that anger or let go of that lack of support? So number one, it's important to understand that just recognizing that your symptoms are because of these unexpected events in your life is a huge first step, because that awareness and acknowledgement is actually going to relax you emotionally, where you're not going to panic that you don't know why this pain came out of nowhere, that there's actually an explanation for it. That in and of itself is a huge first step. Now, the second step is, especially this is more for those of you that are dealing with chronic symptoms, that you know who it is that you're feeling unsupported by, or what circumstance or situation caught you off guard that is leading to your back pain, because subconsciously you're interpreting that as a lack of support. How do you change your perspective? What do you do? How do you resolve that conflict? Well, one of the key things that I've found over the years of utilizing this in my clinical practice is that a lot of our conflicts really come about from expectations that we have that don't get met. We have an expectation that we're going to get into a job, that it's going to be a job for life, that they're going to take care of us and our family. And then one day we find out that they're going to lay off people. We have this expectation that we're going to marry one person for the rest of our lives, that we're going to grow old together, have a family, and love each other until death do us part. And then we find out they're cheating on us and that they want a divorce. And so that could be a shock. So a lot of times we have these expectations that, again, oftentimes we create ourselves. And so one of the things that you have to really be aware of when trying to resolve your conflicts is, how do I let go of my expectations? How do I create a new expectation? Maybe you expected this job to be your dream job and to be there for the rest of your life, and it's not going to work out like that. So I'm going to look at it that this is a stepping stone job. This is like a full-time summer job. I'm going to gather the skills, make the contacts that I need to make in order to move on to the next step of my career, or to that next better opportunity that's going to come along. And perhaps that thinking or that perspective shift is what allows you to overcome that back pain because of the lack of support from your boss or coworkers as they're laying people in your job. Maybe if your lack of support comes from your spouse who decides that they want a divorce, and this was who you thought was the man or the woman of your dreams that you're going to grow old together, then your expectation has to shift now. Maybe you have to look at it that I'm going to marry 2 more people before I die. This isn't it for me. Or perhaps it's looking at the fact that, I want to be alone. Maybe this is the time of my life to really discover who I am and what I need to make myself fulfilled in my life. I know it's not easy to be able to look at these situations in a different way, but I believe we're all capable of that. And therefore, if we're capable of changing our perspective, we're all capable of resolving our conflicts and getting symptom relief. I want to thank you.
Wow, that was huge, huge, huge. I want to give you another example of a man who I knew about, my friend's brother, who had prostate cancer, and his expectations got so destroyed. He was a black man flying airplanes for Eastern Airline. I think it was Eastern, one of those airlines that went broke and went away. Eastern, I believe. Airline pilot, a black man as an airline pilot back in the, I'd say 20, 30, 40 years ago was rare, okay? But this man achieved that status, flying airplanes, black man. You know, anytime you get on a plane, you see a black man. I'm like, hey, salute you, God, you made it. This guy was told he had no pension. He lost his pension. Eastern went broke. They went out of business and they took away his pension. Now, tell me if that's not one of the worst unexpected traumas that you could go through. This man developed prostate cancer after that battle. I don't know that he ever recovered his pension, but I know he transitioned out of here because he could not change his expectations into, well, what do I do now? Maybe go work for a private company flying airplanes and build a new pen. Didn't happen. I'm just saying he suffered through a prostate cancer diagnosis. And I know that was the root of it. But then there again, what in his childhood taught him to not be able to let go of those expectations? What are you going to do about it? You sue the company. Everybody lost their pension. So that was another example of a prostate disease that went through full metastatic and was never resolved. These are the beginnings of the prostate journey of problems that all men and women should be aware of so we can help our brothers and those transgender people who still have one get over it. Okay, so in Louise Hay's book, this is another help that men can get for their prostate issues that come on really early. How to remember, the key to prevent is resolving the conflict. Whatever it is, find out whether it's a childhood abuse, lost pension. As the professional just said, you've got to change your expectation. My dad's favorite line was, expect the unexpected. And that's how he lived to be 95 with no prostate cancer, I think. He was taking some saw palmetto for his prostate because in his marriage he had conflict, but there was never a cancer diagnosis because he was one that believed expect the unexpected, and then he would resolve things pretty quickly. So Louise Hay, my favorite author, Heal Your Body, the mental causes for physical and the metaphysical way to overcome. What does she have to say about prostate problems? Very important that you be aware if this is you that can resolve something. She says prostate problems are mental fears that weaken the masculinity. Now, I just imagine a transgender woman with a prostate. If they have mental fears, their prostate's affected, not their feminine energy that they're trying to put out, but their prostate will be affected. So the reality is your biology always tells the truth, whether you're gender, trans, or whatever. Louise Hay says giving up is another issue or root of prostate problems. Another root, sexual pressure and guilt. Older men, they get prostate issues because they got the pressure to perform, and then they feel guilty for whatever their whole life. At 70 years old, a man is, if he's not performing, he's going to have pressure, guilt. My partner for 5 years had prostate problems. Lots of guilt. No pressure sexually, because that wasn't a big deal for me, but for him it was. We played a lot of Scrabble and played chess that we made up for the sexual pressure, whatever. But he had the guilt, not me. And so, belief in aging, that's what Louise Hay has to say about the root cause of prostate problems, which means inflammation, and what they call prostatitis. I think in the beginning of your journey with cancer, they say your prostate is inflamed and your numbers are this. And so you need to be taking drugs or you need to do that. Well, Louise Hay says you need to affirm this message. I love and approve of myself. I accept my own power. I am forever young in spirit. That's Louise Hay's prescription. 100% agree. I love and approve of myself. That's what tapping EFT promotes and encourages you to do when you do your meridian tapping. I love and approve of myself. I don't care if I'm 80 years old. I'm going to love and approve of myself. And I accept my own power at 80, at 60, 70, 80, when the prostate usually has challenges. Just accept the power that you have. You've lived this long, first of all, and you have a lot of wisdom to share with the world. If you've lived to be, and even in your 70s, you got a lot of wisdom to share. Your journey, Jonathan Blount, shared so much wisdom. I just blew my mind, and I laughed at all the stories. I am forever young in spirit. Jonathan Blount walked around Orlando for many years, feeling and looking forever young in spirit. It was just an awe to watch him. But he used alcohol for many years to soothe that pain from childhood abuse that was rooted deeply inside of him. He used alcohol. I don't think he was using any other drug but alcohol. But he was still the most lively person in the world. Now, up to that point, the alcohol, he got into a lot of trouble with the police because he was, even though this man at one time was a millionaire, in the last 10 years of his life were an adventure in running from the police, running from anybody, but he still maintained his classy ways, his classy looks. And he moved around Orlando, moving and shaking politicians, doing everything. Now, unfortunately, he decided to take the COVID medicine. And that's where I saw the downfall of his health. Up to that point, he was managing everything with that alcohol and just running around being his happy-go-lucky self. But then he took and I swear within a month, he had a heart attack. So even with all the challenges, and then a month, he was in therapy, rehab. I went through the whole journey with him. I wasn't right there, but I was hearing it on the phone. I was everything. It was like a book writing. And then shortly after, the prostate diagnosis came. Well, yeah, that's what happens. That jab accelerated everything for many people. So then when the prostate issue showed up, he really did change his life. I sat down with him at a restaurant and we talked about all the natural things he was doing. He had stopped drinking. He was doing all these natural things for his prostate. He looked amazing. And we sat there for over an hour laughing and talking about his history and all that. And then I didn't see him for a while. And the next time I saw him, he was on some kind of medication for the prostate. And the next time I saw him, he was on another medication for the prostate. And we spent a good hour at the 50th anniversary of Essence. There was a big party. I have it on my YouTube channel, actually, where I interviewed Jonathan and several other people. Big party. He was his usual debonair, cigar smoking self. And then we went next door to the wine store and drank wine for like an hour or more and sat outside chatting with friends. Just a beautiful experience. And then I didn't see him for a while. And he was in and out of hotels, doing his thing, in and out of hotels, finding a place to roam. And next thing I hear is that Jonathan had left us. So the lesson is important. That's what this is all about, is learning the lessons. I have, the last couple of days, I've been just cutting karmic ties with people who are demonstrating so much fear in their life that I can't be associated with them anymore. Jonathan was someone in my life who was just a teacher of all sorts about his emotions, his journey, his life. And so for us now, it's all about the people in our lives who challenge us. The key is, what's the lesson? Why is this person in my life? And so the last few days I've been people who I had high expectations for too, just like the speaker said, the expectations, keeping those high expectations and not being able to resolve the conflict and come up with a better solution is what causes the body to go into conflict, which means dis-ease shows up. And in German New Medicine, which I'm a practitioner of, there's no such thing as metastatic cancer. You get prostate cancer, and then if you turn up with bone cancer, that's a self-hatred diagnosis in German New Medicine. But the sick care system will tell you, oh, it has spread to the bones. Or in the lungs, if you find, and obviously Jonathan had developed cancer in other parts of his body. Well, that's what that jab did to people. Everything explodes when you take that jab. And now they're realizing they got Fauci on trial, on this fake trial that's going where, who knows where, it's fake trial. Because now they want a scapegoat, because they're realizing they made a lot of mistakes with and that's where I saw Jonathan's health take a downward turn fast after the jab. So we are here to learn the lessons. That's all. I am so grateful for that man in my life and all the lessons he taught me, because I will never have cancer, ever, 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 because I'm learning lessons and I'm cutting ties with karmic energy that has showed up in my life. I have people who've showed up in my life. They appear to be soul ties, soul connections. And because there's just keep thinking about them, why are they here? And then I'm learning the lessons as to why they're in my life. Because guess one of the biggest lessons for all of us is actions speak louder than words. You got somebody in your life, maybe they're not even talking a lot and they don't have a lot of action, but they want to be your friend. They want to be your friend, but they don't talk to you. They want to be your friend. They want to have a relationship with you through a text or something, but they don't call you. Cut that off. That's the lesson. Actions speak louder than words. That person needs therapy. They need a lot of conversation with a therapist about, why are you putting up walls for people you want to be friends with? And why are you not being honest? When you have people in your life who are not being honest, cut the ties, and learn the lesson. So for quantum reality is really about energy and motion, or your emotions, which you don't see. You don't see the energy behind anger, but you feel it, right? You don't see the energy, except on a person's face and their words, but you feel the energy of that hatred, right? You don't hear or you don't see the energy of neglect and abandonment, but you feel it. So that is really how to prevent any type of cancer, is to discern, be aware of how it feels in your body, in your mind, in your ears. Words with no action, action speaks louder than words. We've heard that, right? That's a lesson for anyone in your life who's talking a lot and they're not doing shit. Excuse my French. Cut them off. Cut them off. That go and advise them to get some help. If you can't help them with therapy, if they don't want to listen to you, cut them off. This is the season for awareness about quantum reality, because we got quantum financial systems being set up. We got quantum physics. Bruce Lipton is the master of quantum understanding. He teaches us about the epigenetics of everything, which is energy. It's all energy. So the quantum reality is really just what is the energy fueling this disease in your body. And once you become aware of the childhood abuses knocking you on the head, and you're in your 60s and 70s, and you're still angry about that, you need to resolve that. Otherwise, cancer is just developing slowly in the body to help you wake up. So let's see. I have one comment here from 963B for you. She says yes. So I assume she's agreeing with everything that's being said so far. I hope this is really something you can take home, meditate on to prevent any development of, or even if you have been diagnosed with some type of dis-ease by the sick care system. There are so many solutions now. Not med beds. We've talked about med beds. That's one solution. That's coming up real fast and quick, because on Telegram, another social media app, they talk about med beds all the time. So we know it's coming big time, and there's not a lot of need for drugs to be cut, burn, poison. That's going away. So I want to hope that you are educating yourself, starting here, and then doing your research. Please, please do your research. Don't take anybody's word for anything about your health. Do your research. I did a question to AI about expanding my book. I'm going to be offering a paperback for my book, From Fear to Faith in the Master Design, because Spirit just keeps saying I need to add it. I need to add some chapters. So I did a little inquiry into Meta AI. That's what I use. I was blown away how it put all my thoughts together and all my pages together that I've already written into sacred geometry, and how the body and sacred geometry mesh together and blend together to give us emotional intelligence. It just blew me away. So I'm working on that, improving my book with 3 new chapters on sacred geometry, emotional intelligence, and the master design that brings all that together. Oh, I'm so excited. So I'm saying this because your resources are unlimited now for how you can heal this body and not just submit to the radiation, the chemo and all. That's ancient. That's unnecessary, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor. It's just really unnecessary, because you got YouTube. You got so many people who have overcome disease that can share their story. And then I have plenty of knowledge, experience, and my book shows you all the people that I met who overcame their disease, or who did not overcome, and they ended up on the other side in peace. That's what happened. So thank you, Jonathan Blount, for all the lessons. And be in gratitude for people in your life who are bringing you lessons. And even if they trigger you, somebody triggers you, I highly suggest, if you get triggered these days, here's what you do. Take 3 deep breaths. When you recognize right away, this person has triggered me, or this person makes me angry, they just said something that just really I didn't like, take 3 deep breaths. Blow out, 3 deep breaths, blow out, and then respond. Do not react with anger or bitterness, because that person is sent to you to help you unload the crap, unload the old memories that are causing tumors and things to show up in your body. It's such a beautiful journey. When you have knowledge, the scripture says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. There's an abundance of knowledge everywhere now. There's no excuses anymore. And if you need help, I'm here for you. Just to go, you can go to my website, yourholisticlifecoach.com. I have a 6-week program at a reasonable price. I think it's way too low, but I'm offering it at a reasonable price to help you and me partner to let go of all the trauma from childhood and to create a new lifestyle that eats less, moves more, and that pays attention to the relationships in your life that need to have a scissor go across the string of karmic ties or soul ties once you learn why those people are here, the lesson they came to bring, just cut the ties, because they will drain you. And more important, that your expectations will continue to be fed and you be disappointed. And why aren't they calling me? Why aren't they talking to me? There's a reason, because the lesson was meant to be short term until people get their act together. This is a season for evolving and moving into 4th and 5th dimension and into quantum lifestyle, where energy teaches you about your finances, how to improve. In fact, your finances can be improved in quantum financial systems. So you have to do your research. Exciting time. So I hope don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like, and subscribe if you want to keep these lessons going, these interactions going. Like and subscribe. And if this has been helpful to you, I think this has been a major class on quantum energy and disease. This is just a small lesson that I teach on quantum energy and overcoming your disease. Feel free to send me a Cash App for any amount. If you send me a Cash App for any amount, I'll send you the ebook of vegetable soup for women for any amount. And if you want to order my ebook, send me a $8 Cash App, and I will send you From Fear to Faith and the Master Design, which is just a chronicle of all the people I met who showed me the root cause of their disease and how I overcame it and managed it. At 71 years old, I'm not on any medications. I'm walking, yoga, doing everything that my grandchildren do and more, riding my bike, because my dad taught me the lessons early with his wisdom. And living to 95 years old, I paid close attention to everything he was doing, all the choices he was making. And he started his 3 girls off early in the YMCA, swimming and exercise. Exercise was the lesson from my dad, to keep your body healthy. And so I still do that even at 71. Gratitude. And gratitude is number 1 for me. Every night, gratitude, wake up, gratitude. And if you miss my show on Sunday, please go back and watch Priestess Nuruddina's wisdom about Agnihotra. And one of the things that has stuck with me that she reminded us of is smiling creates certain enzymes in the mouth first and in the body second that bring health and strength. So if you're walking around like this all day, that's your acid enzymes, acid pH, and disease starting to flourish, because the body feels your smile, your energy from your lips. So keep the smiles going no matter what. Even if you're hurting, smile, smile, smile. And the body will respond. See, the body doesn't get triggered. It just responds to your choices and behavior with mastery design energy, called quantum energy. So I hope this has been helpful for you to have a better day, a better life. And I'll be back on Sunday with Soul Purpose Healing. So everybody get out and get some sun. Very important, get some sun. And vitamin D, that's part of the therapy for any diseases. Get sun and smile. Keep smiling. That's what the key is. Smile, smile, smile. All my yogi friends out there, namaste, sat nam. Aho, aho to all my relatives out there on the native land. And all my synchronistic family, I say to you, ashe, ashe, oh. And let's see, I see a comment coming up. Kim Ya C4D, smile. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. That's the final word of the day. Smile no matter what. Just keep smiling and you're changed. That's the quantum first step in the mouth, where you're going to start digesting food, and smiling actually helps the digestion because the enzymes are created in the mouth to break down everything you put in your mouth. And how about this? Everything that comes out of the mouth, those words, if they're coming out with a smile, you're going to be healing yourself and other people. So thank you, Kim Ya, for that reminder. Smile, smile, smile. Keep smiling. Mwah. And shalom. Love you all. Have a great day.
Kahus tiki alemik sa ora azem Pahaka kepu katarak Adirga hen Tashiya mushiwa basaw kamun The fear mu the kabili a kalet nun I kick the kabun to a part to sad I knew get a was look at papa garage I knew I went for papa lag I knew I can't put you a akakadad I knew could do on a coach edition yet I knew could do la mother was patarak I do free pamarat the gahamos I knew for nas na super do I got no horse put it in hot, yeah. Now cook, put it in hot.